it's just reading a lot of short stories, and that's what I thought I'd do today. Just go through the episode summaries on Wikipedia and read them for you. So I hope you enjoy it. I'm going to start with Series 1, Episode 1, which is called Where Is Everybody? Okay. A man finds himself alone walking towards a diner. Inside, he finds a jukebox playing loudly and coffee hot on the stove, but no one else. He inquires for some breakfast, but no chef or waitress is to be found. He is dressed in an Air Force flight suit, but he does not remember who he is or how he got there. After leaving the diner, he walks to a nearby town. The town seems deserted, but everywhere the man goes, he finds proof that somebody had been there recently. Food is cooking on the stove, water dripping in a sink, and a cigar is burning in an ashtray. He grows more and more unsettled as he wanders through the empty town, looking for someone, anyone to talk to, all the while having the strange feeling he is being watched. In a soda shop, after talking to himself idly, he spins racks filled with paperback books until he comes to an already spinning rack filled from top to bottom with the same book, called The Last Man on Earth, February 1959. He finally collapses next to a street crossing and presses a button labelled Walk. It is revealed that the walk button is a panic button. The man is really a training astronaut named Mike Ferris, confined to an isolation room located within an aircraft hangar for 484 hours and 36 minutes, testing to see if he can stay cooped up in a small spacecraft for the duration of a trip to the moon. The town was a complete hallucination, an escape valve for his sensory-deprived mind. As Ferris is carried out of the hangar on a stretcher, he sees the moon above him, and he says wistfully, "Hey, don't go away up there. Next time it won't be a dream or a nightmare. Next time it'll be for real. So don't go away. We'll be up there in a little while." Episode 2, One for the Angels. A sidewalk pitchman, Lou Bookman, makes a living selling toys, notions and trinkets. It's seen that all the children in the neighbourhood enjoy this kind, gentle man. One summer day, Mr. Bookman is accosted by death, and he is told he is to die at midnight. Lou argues that his life's work as a pitchman is not quite complete, and convinces Mr. Death to give him enough time to give one last great sales pitch. One for the angels, as Lou puts it. Once Mr. Death agrees, Bookman announces his intention to quit his profession and find another line of work. Proud of having outsmarted Mr. Death and now virtually assured of immortality, Lou is informed by Mr. Death that other arrangements must now be made, that someone else will have to take his place. Because of this, Mr. Death chooses a little girl, one of Lou's good friends who lives in the same building. When she is hit by a truck, Lou immediately offers to go with Mr. Death, but is told it is too late. Later that night, as the girl lies comatose, Death comes to claim her. Bookman pleads with Mr. Death to take him instead, despite their agreement. Mr. Death is adamant. A deal is a deal. He must be at the little girl's room at midnight to take her. As the appointed time nears, Bookman distracts Death by beginning a sales pitch. So well does Bookman describe the wonders of his wares that Mr. Death is enticed into purchasing everything. "Give me all you have." So enthralled is Mr. Death with Lou's eloquence, he forgets to claim the girl's life. The town clock tower tolls midnight before Death realizes mouth smiles. Up there, Mr. Bookman. You made it. Rod Serling, who is the creator of the Twilight Zone for the record, in his summation notes that while Lou Bookman lived a very ordinary life as lives go, he was a man beloved by the children and therefore he was a very special man. Mr. Denton on Doomsday. Al Denton was once known as the quickest draw in town, but his life was ruined after he killed a teenaged boy in a duel. He's now an alcoholic wreck and the laughingstock of the community. A mysterious salesman named Henry J. Fate ostensibly further dooms Denton by causing him to inexplicably regain his expert shooting touch, and once again inspired the respect and awe of the townsfolk, which Denton explains will only cause reputation-hungry gunslingers from miles to seek him out and inevitably kill him. Just as Denton predicted, soon enough a challenge is delivered which Denton dare not refuse. The still weary and not so sure-handed Denton practices in the desert for his suicidal duel, but he misses his target miserably and concludes that he must skip town. As he quietly packs his own things and tries to flee under cover of night, he strikes up a conversation with Fate, who seems to know things about Denton and offers him a way out. Fate claims to possess a potion guaranteed to make the drink the fastest gun in the West for exactly 10 seconds. Denton is skeptical, but Fate goads him into drinking a free sample, after which Denton immediately realizes its benefits. Still, Denton knows that with Fate's magical potion he has extended his lease on life by only one gunfight. There will be no end to the challenges he will surely continue to receive. At the appointed time, Denton faces his challenger B. Grant, a young gunfighter who behaves like he knows he can't possibly lose. Denton downs his second potion, only to find his opponent holding an identically empty bottle. Fate had slyly provided the same elixir to young Grant. Each man shoots the other in the hand, causing injuries which are minor but forever ruin both men's abilities to pull a gun. Denton tells his young opponent that they have both been blessed because they will never be able to fire a gun in anger. Henry J. Fate tips his hat to Denton and rides quietly out of town. Just as Fate helped one man out of a pit, he had simultaneously prevented another one from falling into one. The 16mm Shrine. Aging film star Barbara Jean Trenton secludes herself in her private screening room where she reminisces about her past by watching her old films. In an attempt to bring her out into the real world, her agent Danny Weiss arranges a part for her in a new movie and brings a former leading man, now also older, many years retired from acting and managing a chain of grocery stores, to visit tries to tell him to enjoy his childhood while he lasts. His advances scare young Martin, who falls off the merry-go-round and injures his leg. After young Martin is carried away, Sloane is confronted by his father who, having seen the documents and money with future dates on them in Sloane's lost wallet, now believes his story. The man advises his son that everyone has their time, and instead of looking behind them, he should look ahead, because the happiness he is seeking may be in places he hasn't looked yet. When Sloane walks back into the drugstore, he finds himself in present-day Homewood during the afternoon. After discovering he now has a limp from the carousel injury, he makes his way back to the gas station. He picks up his car and drives away, content to live his life as it is. Escape clause. A mean-spirited, abusive hypochondriac sells his soul to the devil, who appears as a rotund rogue who calls himself Cadwallader here, as he likes the way the name rolls off his tongue. In exchange for immortality, he adds enough conditions to keep himself out of Satan's clutches forever. He is puzzled when the evil one doesn't put up much of a fight, only stipulating an escape clause which allows the man to die if he so wishes, but doesn't worry too much about it. He uses his newfound invulnerability to collect insurance money and cheap thrills by hurling himself into life-threatening accidents. Soon bored with his game, he confesses to the murder of his wife, who in reality accidentally fell off the roof of their apartment building while trying to stop him from jumping. He hopes to experience the electric chair. However, his lawyer is too good, and instead he's sentenced to life in prison with no chance of parole. In the last scene, the devil shows up and reminds him of the escape clause. Realizing he will face an eternity in prison if he doesn't use it, the man nods and suffers a fatal heart attack. The guard discovers his lifeless body and sighs, "Poor devil." The Lonely. In 2046, an inmate named Corey is sentenced to solitary confinement on a distant asteroid for 50 years. In his fourth year of confinement, he is visited by a spacecraft that regularly brings him supplies and news from Earth 4 times a year. The ship and crew can stay if only for a few minutes each visit, as the asteroid's orbit and the ship's fuel consumption rate make longer visits impossible. Captain Allenby has been trying to make Corey's stay humanely tolerable by bringing him things to take his mind off the loneliness. On this trip on the 15th day of the 6th month of the 4th year, however, Allenby tells Corey not to open a certain crate that has just been delivered until after the transport crew leaves. On opening the special container, Corey discovers that Allenby has left him with a feminine robot named Alicia to keep him company. At first, Corey detests it, rejecting Alicia as a mere machine, synthetic skin and wires inside. However, when Corey sees that Alicia is in fact capable of crying, he begins to fall in love with it. When the ship returns, Captain Allenby brings news that Corey has been pardoned after a review of past murder cases, but they only have 20 minutes to leave. Corey, it seems, can return home to Earth immediately, must remember to keep that in mind. Time enough at last. Bank teller and avid bookworm Henry Bemis works at his window in a bank while reading David Copperfield, which causes him to shortchange an annoyed customer. Bemis's angry boss and later his wife both complain to him that he wastes far too much time reading doggerel. As a cruel joke, his wife asks him to read poetry from one of his books to her. He eagerly obliges, only to find that she has drawn lines over the text on every page. The next day, as usual, Henry takes his lunch break in the bank's vault, where his reading will not be disturbed. Moments later, he sees a newspaper headline which reads, "H-bomb capable of total destruction." An enormous explosion outside the bank violently shakes the vault, knocking Bemis unconscious. After regaining consciousness and recovering the thick glasses required for him to see, Bemis emerges from the vault to find the bank demolished and everyone in it dead. Leaving the bank, he sees that the entire city has also been destroyed, and realizes that a nuclear war has devastated Earth, but that his being in the vault has saved him. Finding himself totally alone in a shattered world, with food to last him a lifetime, but no one to share it with, Bemis succumbs to despair. As he prepares to commit suicide using a revolver he has found, Bemis sees the ruins of the public library in the distance. Investigating, he finds that the books are still intact and readable. All the books he could ever hope for are his for the reading, and all the time in the world to read them without interruption. His despair gone, Bemis contently sorts the books he looks forward to reading for years to come. Just as he bends down to pick up the first book, he stumbles, and his glasses fall off and shatter. In shock, he picks up the broken remains of the glasses he is virtually blind without, and says, "That's not fair. That's not fair at all. There was time now. That was all the time I needed. That's not fair," and bursts into tears, surrounded by books he can now never read. Perchance to dream. Edward Hall, a man with a severe heart condition, believes that if he falls asleep, he'll die. On the other hand, keeping himself awake will put too much of a strain on his heart. He believes this due to his constantly overactive imagination. He believes that his imagination is severely out of control, to the point where he'd be able to see and feel something that was not there. Due to this, his heart condition is especially dangerous. He seeks out the aid of psychiatrist Rothman and explains that he has been dreaming in chapters, as if in a movie serial. In his dreams, Maya, a carnival dancer, lures him onto a roller coaster in a funhouse in an attempt to scare him to death. Realizing that Rothman cannot help him, Hall starts to go, but stops when he realizes that Rothman's receptionist looks exactly like Maya. Terrified, he runs back into Rothman's office and jumps out of the window. In reality, the doctor calls his receptionist into the office, where Hall lies on the couch, his eyes closed. Rothman tells the receptionist that Hall had come in, lain down, immediately fallen asleep, then moments later let out a scream and died. "Well, I guess there are worse ways to go," the doctor says philosophically. "At least he died peacefully." Rod Serling's narration then reveals that in a split second, a person can dream up a 30-minute dream. Judgment Night. A somewhat nervous passenger by the name of Carl Lancer appears aboard a British ship in 1942. As the story opens, it becomes clear that Lancer has no idea how he got abroad, or who he really is. He is standing on deck as a man is calling him for dinner. He enters the cabin and joins the crew and passengers. Hearing the captain comment on German U-boats, Lancer becomes annoyed and explains to him in great detail how one would Lancer explains that he has not been there long and was born in Frankfurt, Germany. Lancer then appears confused, explains that he is ill and goes back to his cabin. While still on deck, he speaks to a female crew member, but grows increasingly stressed and rants about doom waiting for them. He explains that he knows who he is, but he cannot seem to grasp the specifics. The captain then asks to see Lancer again. After speaking to him, he is suspicious because Lancer claims he was born in Germany but cannot provide details of his life and does not have his passport on hand to verify his identity. The captain sends a steward to Lancer's cabin, and while unpacking Lancer's possessions, he finds the cap of a German naval officer. While inspecting it in private, Lancer discovers the cap bears his own name on the inside. Lancer leaves and goes to the ship bar. Lancer is becoming increasingly panicked through listening to fellow passengers discuss various topics related to the war. He has been experiencing a sense of deja vu and is becoming seemingly oblivious that he is, unbeknownst to the others, a German submarine officer. Lancer is now certain that the ship will be attacked. The engines halt at 12:05, and despite the crew's reassurances, Lancer panics, believing they will all be killed at 1:15. Unsuccessfully trying to convince the crew that they will soon be under attack, Lancer must suffer the agony of watching the passengers be killed at precisely the time that Lancer predicted. The freighter is sunk by a German U-boat commanded by Captain Lieutenant Lancer. Later, Lancer is in his cabin on the U-boat, recording that night's kill, when his second-in-command asks Lancer if they might be judged according to the way they attacked the defenseless ship. Lancer replies that only the British will surely judge them. The first mate questions Lancer on whether God might also be judging them, condemning them to relive the final moments of the doomed ship. With this thought left open for debate, we learn that the first mate's fears are realised. The attacking U-boat and crew are condemned to sink the freighter over and over, with Lancer being an unwitting passenger amongst those killed without mercy on the ghost ship. The episode thus recounts Carl Lancer's private hell. Sure enough, Lancer reappears on the deck of the ship, and the nightmare begins again. And when the sky was opened, 3 astronauts find the X-20 dinosaur into space for the first time, disappear from radar in a test flight, and then reappear. However, all is not as it seems upon their return to Earth. As they crash land, Major Card is sent to the hospital with a broken leg. The other two, Lieutenant Colonel Phobes and Colonel Harrington, are quickly discharged from hospital with no problems. During the evening, the two go to a bar. There, Harrington suddenly gets a strange feeling, as if he no longer belongs in the world. He phones his parents, but they tell him they have no son. Then Harrington mysteriously disappears from the phone booth, and no one but Forbes remembers his existence. The headline in a newspaper first says, 3 spacemen, then 2 spacemen. Forbes tells his story to Card, who says he does not know any person named Harrington. Then Forbes looks in the mirror, but there is no reflection of him looking back. Forbes snaps and runs out of the room. By the time Card gets up to run after him, Forbes has mysteriously disappeared too, and no one remembers him. After getting back into bed, he notices the newspaper says, Lone Spaceman. Then falls back in horror. Then he too disappears. The aircraft has vanished as well, wiping all evidence of the program off the face of the Earth. Although there are no special effects showing the spacecraft in flight, the disappearances are emphasized by props. There is one fewer bed in the hospital room when one man disappears. At the end, the hospital room is shown empty, as is the hangar where the X-20 was originally housed. What you need. Pejat, a peddler, has the curious ability to give people exactly what they need before they need it. The old man enters a cafe where he first gives a woman a vial of cleaner. Then he gives a down-on-his-luck ex-baseball player bus tickets to Scranton because he foresaw that Reynard would eventually kill him. At the end of the episode, the peddler gives a couple a comb, which they use to groom themselves just before they are photographed as witnesses for a newspaper story covering a hit-and-run accident that killed Fred Reynard. The four of us are dying. Archhammer is a con man who can change his face to make it look like anyone he chooses. He walks into a nightclub where he impersonates deceased trumpeter Johnny Foster in order to steal Foster's girlfriend, a sultry singer. Hammer then pays a visit to Mr. Pennell, impersonating murdered gangster Virgil Sturrig in order to extort money out of Pennell, the man who had Sturrig killed. Pennell sends his men after Hammer. Trying to escape down an alley, Hammer changes his face to one he sees on a poster of a boxer Andy Marshank, but thinking he is in the clear, at a street newsstand he runs into Marshank's father, who mistakes him for the son who broke his mother's heart and ruined a young girl's life. Hammer punches the old man out of the way and returns to his hotel room. A detective comes to the hotel to pick him up for questioning at the police station. In order to escape from the policeman in a revolving door, Hammer assumes Marshank's appearance again. But on the street he again bumps into Marshank's father, who pulls a gun on him. Hammer tries to show the old man he is not who he thinks he is, but before he can concentrate and change, the old man shoots him. As Hammer lies dying, his face shifts from one person to another until he dies wearing his own face. Third from the sun. Will Sturcker, a scientist who works at a military base run by the government, has been producing a great number of H-bombs in preparation for the imminent nuclear war. Sturcker realizes there is only one way to escape: steal an experimental top-secret spacecraft stored at the base. He plans to bring his co-worker Jerry Ryden, along with their wives and Sturker's daughter Jodie. The two plot for months, secretly supplying the ship and making arrangements for their departure. When production of the bombs increase, Sturcker realizes that time is running short. He and Ryden decide to put their plan in action, taking their families to the craft to tow it, then overpower the guards and take off. Unfortunately, Sturker's superior, Carling, overhears the two men talking. Later that night, everyone gathers for a game of cards, where Ryden reveals he has found a place to go, a small planet 11 million miles away. During the game, Carling unexpectedly appears at the door. Though he smiles and acts polite, he makes it clear that he knows what the group is planning. He also hints at trouble. A lot can happen in 48 hours. As he leaves, Sturcker and Ryden inform the women that they must leave that very night. When the five arrive at the site of the spacecraft, Sturcker and Ryden spot their contact, who flashes a light. When the contact steps forward, though, he is revealed to be Carling, armed with a gun. He forces Sturcker and Ryden away from the gate and prepares to call the authorities. The women, who have been waiting in the car, watch in horror as Carling orders them out. Jodie suddenly throws the car's door open, knocking the gun from Carling's hand and giving the men enough time to overpower him. The group rushes into the ship, fighting off the guards that rush them. Later that evening, the group has safely escaped their doomed planet and are on course. Ryden comments that he cannot believe there is a planet full of people like themselves. Sturcker smiles as he points out on the ship's viewer their mysterious destination, 11 million miles away, the third planet from the sun, called Earth. I shot an arrow into the air. A manned spaceflight crash lands on what the astronauts believe to be an unknown asteroid. Their expectations of survival or rescue are bleak. Only 4 of the crew survive, one of whom is barely alive. After he dies, the 3 remaining men, Corey, Donlin and Pearson, decide to trek out into the barren desert to see if there is anything that might The story begins with Nan Adams, whose vehicle gets a flat tire on a cross-country road from a trip from New York City to Los Angeles. A mechanic puts a spare tire on her car and directs her to the nearest town to fix it properly. Just before she leaves, Nan notices a strange-looking man hitchhiking. Unnerved, she drives away quickly. As she continues her trip, Nan sees the same hitchhiker thumbing for a ride at several other points on her journey. She becomes increasingly frightened of him, and when she is stuck on a railroad crossing and nearly hit by a train, she becomes convinced that the hitchhiker is trying to kill her. She continues to drive, becoming more and more afraid, stopping only when necessary, but every time she does, the same hitchhiker is there. When she ends up stranded in New Mexico, she meets a sailor on his way back to San Diego from leave. Eager for protection from the hitchhiker she's been seeing, she offers to drive the sailor to San Diego herself. However, she is still paranoid about the hitchhiker, and when she sees him on the road, she tries to run him over. The sailor, who cannot see him, begins to fear for her sanity and leaves her. In Arizona, Nan stops to call her mother. The woman who answers the phone, Mrs. Whitney, says that Mrs. Adams is in the hospital. She had a nervous breakdown after finding out that her daughter, Nan, was killed in a car accident in Pennsylvania 6 days ago, when the car she was driving blew a tire and overturned. At this point, Nan realizes the truth. The hitchhiker is not a man who wants her to die, but is rather the personification of death, waiting patiently and persistently for her to realize that she has been dead all along. Nan returns to the car and sees the hitchhiker sitting in the back seat through the reflection of the vanity mirror on her visor. "I believe you're going my way," he inquires, almost friendly. As Nan accepts her fate, Rod Serling narration indicates that Nan never made it to Los Angeles. The fever. Franklin and his wife Flora go to Las Vegas because she won a slogan contest. He detests gambling, but his wife is excited about their vacation. Franklin is given a coin by a drunk man at the casino, who makes Franklin use it in a slot machine. He wins and tells his wife that they should keep the winnings and not lose it back like other people. As they depart, Franklin believes he hears the slot machine calling his name. He continues to hear this as he tries to sleep. As he imagines his winnings piling up, he decides to try his luck, telling his wife he cannot keep tainted money, that he's going to try and get rid of it by putting it back in the machine. Later, Flora goes to the casino and finds him playing the machine obsessively. Addicted, Franklin has lost a great deal of their money. When Flora tries to coax him to stop, Franklin declares that he has lost so much that he has to try and win some of it back. He becomes enraged when she presses for him to leave, declaring that the machine is inhuman and that it teases you, sucks you in. Others observe that he has been playing the machine for hours. Eventually, the slot machine takes his last dollar and breaks down. Franklin begins yelling and attacking the machine to give him back his last dollar. He is taken out of the casino screaming. Later in bed, Franklin tells Flora that the machine was about to pay off, but deliberately broke down so that he wouldn't have to. He then hears the machine calling his name. He sees it coming down the hallway to their room, chasing him, but Flora cannot see it and believes he is going crazy. When the machine continues to follow him, repeating his name over and over, Franklin, 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 he backs up towards the window, his hands over his ears, finally crashing through the glass and falling to his death. The police stand over his body, noting that his wife had stated he had not slept in 24 hours. A casino manager comments that he's seen a lot of them get hooked before, but never like him. The last scene shows Franklin's last dollar rolling up and spinning out flat near his outstretched dead hand. The camera pans over to the direction where the coin came from, and there sits the slot machine, smiling at him. his squadron and informs the American officers that the day is March 5th, 1917. He's then informed that the day is not actually March 5th, 17, but the day is March 5th, 1959, and Djenka realizes he has traveled 42 years into the future. Djenka tells the officers that he and his comrade Alexander Mackay were fighting 7 German aircraft, and that Mackay died. He refuses to believe that Mackay is alive, and has become an Air Vice Marshal in the Royal Air Force, as the American officers inform him. Mackay had been a hero during the Second World War, saving thousands of lives from German bombing. The Americans also asked Djenka if he knew Mackay was actually coming to inspect the base that day. Major Wilson tries to help Djenka remember what happened, but Djenka does eventually recall, confessing that throughout his service he acted as a coward, only pretending to do his duty and managing to go off on his own during patrols. Only now that he and Mackay were confronted by a large number of German aircraft, Djenka had chosen to escape rather than support Mackay. He refuses to believe that Mackay somehow escaped with his life. An offhand suggestion made by Wilson that perhaps someone else helped makes Djenka realize that he has been given a second chance. He tells the American officer that there was no one within 50 miles who could have come to help Mackay, so if Mackay survived, it had to be because he went back himself. Djenka pleads with Wilson to release him from custody, but when he is refused, he escapes after assaulting Wilson and a guard. Finding his plane, once he starts it, he is approached by a mechanic whilst climbing aboard, but manages to punch him to the ground. He is about to take off when Wilson catches up and puts a gun to his head. Djenka tells him to let him go, as saving Mackay would also mean saving thousands of lives that Mackay had saved during the Second World War. Djenka also tells Wilson to shoot if he wants to, but this was an opportunity for him to redeem himself from his previous cowardice. Wilson thus allows him to escape, and Djenka flies his plane into the white clouds. Major Wilson is rebuked for letting Djenka go, but when Air Vice Marshal Mackay arrives, he asks him if he knew Djenka. Mackay says that Djenka saved his life by helping him fight the German planes that day. Although initially he feared Djenka had deserted him, Mackay says Djenka returned out of nowhere to shoot down 3 German planes before he was shot down himself. General Harper now shows Mackay the badge and personal effects of Djenka which had been confiscated, upon which Mackay informed him that these had never been returned by the Germans. When Mackay demands to know what's going on, Major Wilson suggests that he sit down, calling him Old Lead Bottom as Djenka had done. "What did you call me?" Mackay asks incredulously, for no one outside his squadron knew that, as we see the clouds outside the general's window. The Purple Testament. William Fitzgerald, or Fitz, is a lieutenant serving in World War II. He suddenly gains the mysterious ability to discover who is about to die via a strange flash of light across the person's face. After correctly predicting several deaths, he tells his friend, Captain Riker, what he is able to see, but the captain does not know whether to believe him or not. Riker consults with a doctor, Captain Gunther, who believes it may be fatigue and suggests that the lieutenant take a leave of rest. Fitzgerald goes to a hospital to see one of his men, Smitty, who is supposed to pull through, but he sees the strange light across the soldier's face and knows his fate. Later, his prediction has come true. He makes a scene in the hospital in front of Captain Gunther. Back at their tent, Fitz reveals to Riker he has seen the light on his face. Though he tells Fitz to forget it and get ready for battle, the captain sets out some of his personal possessions, a few photographs and his wedding ring before he goes into combat. In the camp, the men argue about the rumours of the lieutenant's predictions, but Riker tells all the soldiers that there are no mind readers in the camp. Fitz, seeing the men's faces and realising he could cause mutiny, agrees with the captain. In the ensuing battle, all return except for Riker, who is killed by a sniper. Captain Gunther brings news to Fitzgerald that he is being sent back to division headquarters for some much needed rest, but as the lieutenant gathers his gear, he sees the light flash across his own face in the mirror. A As the soldiers are gathered around the camp at dusk, the sound of an explosion is heard